Welcome everyone to the nightly Q&A for the 2022 Blood in the Snow Film Festival presented by Superchannel. I'm your host Rob Bellamy, host of Bits Radio. You can hear this show and others like it at bitsradio.com. But for this festival tonight, we are Bits TV and we are here with the cast and crew of oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Residents of Arcadia. There we go. I had Arcadia, I forgot Residents. Welcome to the show. What we'll do, Dom, if we could start with you, we'll just get you to introduce yourselves. Okay.
Yeah, I'm Don Kutropi. I'm the director, writer, and co-producer of Residents of Arcadia.
Nick?
My name is Nick Preston. I played Remo in the film.
Excellent. And Kamantha?
Hi, I'm Kamantha Naidu, and I play Annika.
Excellent. Guys, congratulations on this film. When I first got on with Dom and I was talking, I started watching the film and it's like, oh, awesome. It's like Ready Player One, you know? And then you have that big twist right in the middle of the film. What did you guys think? I'll talk to Nick and Kamantha about this. What did you guys think reading that script and seeing that twist come up?
So interesting. so peculiar, but also like relevant, you know, to get your mind working on concepts of society. Yeah, it was really interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, I think like VR is such a prominent thing right now, especially in like marketing and with the kids, the Gen Zs. So it's really fascinating to see where we could go with that, in considering ways beyond where we're currently.
Yeah, it's like VR reality television.
Yeah.
In saying that, I'd love to see VR Survivor. But anyway, Dom,
Oh, it'll be interesting.
how did you come up with this? Because like you said, you were really working on that part of the story. How did it all start?
I mean, I'm always been pretty obsessed with the idea of identity online and offline. And there was actually that twist that you see 20 minutes into the film. It was like probably the first idea that I had for the film. I really wanted to start a film where you think that you're watching two protagonists and that you discover that they're not the protagonists. I really want to do that. And then for some reason, it's kind of flow perfectly with the other stories that I wanted to tell, like the other storyline, which is actually the other themes, like themes of immigration and struggling to find yourself in a different country. So, but that was the first idea, the switch of characters.
Really? Okay. So this script didn't go through a lot of changes.
No, that idea was literally almost unchanged since the beginning, since the treatment. There was, I basically started writing the treatment. I wrote the first 25 pages, until you see Remo and Mira waking up. And after that, I basically started writing the script. So like I would just want to make sure that the twist was in the story before I started writing the script. And after that, and when I started writing the script, everything just come together. I didn't write the entire treatment of the film. I like to keep myself into some sort of mystery as I'm writing the film. So, even the twist, the second twist at the end, when you find out that Annika and Steve are actual characters, are actual people. Even that one, they kind of came natural with the story. It kind of in a way surprised me as well, which is, I think, the best way to get the audience surprised first, right?
Oh, yeah.
Surprise yourself in the writing.
If you guys are surprised, they will definitely be surprised.
Yeah.
So how hard was it to play off of the fact that you knew you weren't these people to begin with? I guess that one's more for Nick than it is Kamantha.
Well, I think we always knew who we were. I mean, obviously, we weren't really doing VR.
What?
But I think the concept is very clear in wanting to be something that you're not. I think that's kind of what we really focused on is just the desire to be something, beyond the same way we feel in society sometimes if, you're being held back by whatever reason. Just that we feel that urge to be something, in a different class.
Well, then, Kamantha, I'll ask you this. How hard was it to get in the mindset of a person that is a proxy for someone else, so to speak? because you have the contacts in and the whole bit. But how do you put yourself in that spot to try and act?
Um, I think, because I actually am an influencer online, and so I feel like I drew on that perspective of I'm living a life and other people are living through it. So it's kind of like almost tied in with what I already have been experiencing. And when you post social media, videos and experiences and things like that, you are kind of like the eyes for the audience. Like they are living vicariously through you. And so it wasn't extremely difficult to do. As I said, like we obviously didn't actually have the context. It's just it's a concept that's started in there. But the mindset, I would say, is not totally unfamiliar.
Okay, I can see that. Absolutely. Now, when it comes to filming this, when did you guys film pre-COVID or post-COVID?
During.
If you can say
During peak COVID.
During the waves of COVID. That's
kind of what made it possible in some ways, just because, right, the film industry here shut down initially for, what was it, 2-3 months? So everyone was really looking for projects to work on and commit some time to that. Right now, when things are back, it's probably harder to put together such a great team.
Yeah. So we cast Nick and Kamantha basically on a Zoom call, which was unheard of before. Usually you do the audition in person. That was the first time. True. And Kamantha can probably add to the casting process.
Oh yeah, totally. Like I was in Australia when airports were closed. Like it was the height of the pandemic. Like it was impossible to leave the country. And Dom was like, well, you got the role. So I needed to figure out a way to get back.
Can I film it from Australia?
Well, eventually the airports, opened again and flights were becoming a thing, but it was very challenging. Like there were no direct flights at all that were accessible during the time that I was determined. I'm like, I need to get back. I must get back.
You had to quarantine when you got back, right?
I had to quarantine. Yes. Yeah. And I've never, that was a whole other experience because I just came straight to my apartment. I had groceries delivered to my door. I didn't leave for 2 weeks. I've never done. That's crazy. It was crazy. I know a lot of people have experienced quarantine, but it was at the very start when everything was being officially enforced, and it wasn't immigration, but there was a government number calling every day to make sure you weren't leaving because there were
really.
Yeah, there were fines given out if you left your apartment. I don't know if they were using iPhone trackers. I'm not sure, but I was like, okay, I'm just going to follow the rules.
I was going to say, because everybody has a cell phone. So literally, you could be at Walmart and answer your phone.
Yeah. But, some people followed it. Some people didn't.
Yeah.
People were snitching on people. It was a crazy time. And that was kind of when I came back, and we went straight into rehearsals after my quarantine.
Yeah. But like you said, it changed the industry because you guys did your Zoom casting.
Yeah.
And it's never changed. We're still all 99% self-tape still. So now it's the norm. But I guess, this was one of the very first. It's crazy to think about.
Yeah, I think I met Nick during the first rehearsal, in person. Because we chat a lot on Zoom just to prep for the... And it was funny because Kamantha actually had to drop the script at her apartment, outside. She's like, can you drop that? And also she added, can you please also bring me a Starbucks latte? so I had to do this crazy thing.
I was dying.
She's like, please, I really need that.
It's hard to hit a drive-through when you're in quarantine.
Yeah, it was July 2020, so it was literally, we were waiting.
And it was before Uber Eats and all of that stuff too. True, it was before all of that. Imagine a world. All the conveniences we have now.
Imagine a world.
It's weird to think about it now, actually. Yeah. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
So how did that affect the actual filming? Because I got to be honest, when I watch films anymore, and I don't know if it's just because of COVID, I watch for the number of people in a scene and, how they were shot to see if it was pre or post. And yours was kind of seamless. I didn't know. So
the entire confrontation scene with the fight at the end around the pool, we shot that entire 13 minutes of film the same day, and it was probably the most challenging day because we had 31 people on set in this big house, but everybody needed to be at a distance with a lot of hand sanitizers and masks, which skyrocketed the budget of the film, by the way. And also we shot the entire film in 3 blocks because we couldn't really afford to keep going for 3 weeks straight because of all the regulation. We couldn't check locations all the time. We couldn't work on production design and all the rehearsals. So everything you see in the house at the beginning, at the end, was all shot in within 5 days. Yeah. In 5 days. And the day around the pool with 5 actors, that was the most challenging.
Now it was outside too, though, so that helps.
Outside, yeah. That helps. That definitely helped. Yeah.
So it's interesting that you broke it into blocks to film it.
Yes. Which everybody was against me at the time, but I'm like, this is the only way to do it. And now we actually prepping for the second feature, and we're going to be doing the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, you obviously have to be careful with that. You cannot really.
A fun tidbit, I don't know if you caught it, but because we filmed in blocks, at one point I had to shave for a Hallmark movie. Yeah. So for the last block, my facial hair is all fake. They had to reconstruct it.
Okay, did not notice that.
I absolutely freaked out when Nick called me that day, and I called the makeup artist right away. I'm like, how can we solve it? Oh yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay.
Hey, if Joss Whedon can cover him up, it's easy to put him on, right?
Yeah.
So then, I would say, what was the most challenging aspect of this filming? But it sounds like it was that last scene. Was there anything else that kind of chewed into your time or budget that during this filming?
In terms of challenges, I think the second block was actually the most challenging. Like pretty much everything you see in the car, like the chasing scene, even the scene where Remo is outside his basement, a bit moody with the rain. That was very challenging because it was pouring rain, and the rain really, really created a problem. We have to reshuffle the entire schedule. We were like super under pressure. We had no time. Like it was actually very challenging because it's like the part around the pool. It was challenging because it was a lot of people, and we were at the hype of COVID. But we were very well rehearsed, very well organized. Like the actors have done plenty of rehearsal. Like the fighting scene in slow motion, we did a mock-up of that. Like we actually recreated in a room, a WeWork. We did the entire scene. We did it in slow motion with the phone.
Really?
So we were super prepared. While in the second block, we had less time because literally we was between 2 peaks of COVID. So we have less time to rehearse, and it was actually quite challenging. And also the rain, the car scenes are usually quite challenging to film.
Well, with this whole universe you've created, is there any thought of going back? Because I can see a ton of potential for stories now. I don't know if it would just focus on one particular person or just the world in general, but have you ever thought about going back to Arcadia?
I never thought about it, but you're not the only person that actually suggested that. As so many people actually coming to me and say, "Oh, this can be a series. The concept can be like a series of films." Like, the concept. Yeah, a lot of people ask me that actually. So, but I don't know. For now, I have no plans, but you never know.
Well, yeah, because it does feel like the movie is great, but you can also feel how it would be episodic. Like you could almost turn it into a series.
Yeah,
that's why I kind of wondered. And I got to be honest, I wondered about that rain scene with him sitting up against the house. I don't know if it's the filmmaker in me, but I'm going, I don't think that's how that was originally blocked. I think weather played large into that.
Yes. It was not super different from the way we were thinking, but the rain, we had to play around the rain.
And I think it actually adds to that scene too, because of the fact it's so gray and dreary, and there's poor Remo already gray and dreary.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you guys wanted to put in the film that you weren't able to?
That's interesting. Not really. No.
I mean, you had to work around obviously not having a huge special effects budget, where if this film had been a Hollywood production, I'm sure the tech would have been much higher. But I don't really think we were.
That's a good point, actually. That's a good point, because it's like the film, you don't realize it, but there are like probably around 100 little special effects. And they're no special effects. They're literally removing things signs, or like adding, for example, everything you see on screen is added on screen by our special effect artists. So I would have loved to actually shoot that practically with things going on the scene, because it created different effects of lighting and everything.
I had no idea. Because when I was thinking of questions, one of them was, I go, what about all the effects? But I kept thinking about it and going, no, it was not effects heavy. But now you're saying a lot of that stuff was
Little
digital.
things.
That's the best sign of good effects, is when you don't even notice, though. That's perfect. Well, with your characters, like Camantha, was there anything you thought Anika should have done on screen that you didn't get to do, or that you really liked seeing on screen?
I don't think there's anything that she should have done. There was one scene we almost cut. Remember, Dom?
Which one's that?
The call we were gonna do. It was like the video, the sunscreen video.
Yes.
And we almost didn't do it because we were running short of time that day. And then it was like a quick turnaround, and quickly went outside and we did it. So I think we got everything we needed to get for Anika. But your other question, your second part of your question was, what did I enjoy? What did you just say to me? It was like,
was there any aspect of Anika that you really thought was good in this film? Like,
this was my first leading role in a feature, so it was a very big experience for me. So overall, like, I just loved every moment. It was so there was so much growth for me as an actor, as part of a team, getting to know everyone. Just I don't know, like, I don't think there's anything I would want to have done more of. I loved it all. Like, it was a very emotional experience for me, actually, as an actor.
Really?
As a human, because at that time, as I said, height of the pandemic, did this crazy venture across the world to come shoot it, meeting up with humans after being trapped for 2 weeks, like everything. It was just, the whole thing was intense and crazy, and I absolutely loved it.
That is awesome. Well, Nick, with Remo, was there anything about Remo that you thought stood out, or you thought might be cool to add?
I think it was fun. Like, I think Remo was very logical and really trying to solve problems constantly, while others might have been a little more emotional. So I guess as a result, we were rewriting the script, minor stuff, but on a daily basis. Everything, like, no, this doesn't make the most sense possible. Like, Remo would call that out. You're like, no, that doesn't check out because of this and this and this. So we were constantly adjusting, which I found fun, and I think it made a lot more satisfying for him to really hit these obstacles and find these problems without evident solutions a lot of the time.
Well, that's satisfying too, because you're in a character when you can actually find that in a script and make those adjustments.
For sure.
And Dom, with your script, like, was there anything in there that didn't get added because of either time or budget restrictions or anything? Was there anything you wish you could have added?
I mean, to be honest, as they say, limitations is the mother of creativity. So I actually like the restrictions are actually help a lot.
Really?
I know it's counterintuitive. It just push everybody to a different level of concentration. And even the little things like, Nick adding their extra notes on the character. Like, everybody wanted to be really careful on the details of the film because of the limitations. So, and that's why when people say, "Oh, would you do it with a bigger budget?" I don't think it will have the same result.
You don't think it wouldn't change the script itself?
No, I don't think so.
They'd just be more flash.
Yeah. Because also the script, like, the fact that it came alive so quickly, even there, I think there was like an emotional component of it. Because I wrote the script in a very quick. It was a very quick turnaround. We shot a short in December, and my DP and ex-producer at the time, co-producer at the time, he suggests, like, you have quite a great team right now. Why don't you do a feature film? And I jump in, like, at the opportunity. I ran into writing the script, and within like a month, the first draft was ready. And in 2-3 months, we had like the 4th or 5th draft, and that's what I shared with my producer, with other people. And we were ready to go. Of course, the COVID happens, but still. So even that energy, I think you feel it in the film.
Excellent. Well, everybody at home, we hope you enjoyed not only the film, but this little peek behind the curtain of Residents of Arcadia. Stay tuned for the rest of the festival because there's a lot of good film coming up. But if you want to hear what we're going to keep talking about, tune into bitsradio.com and it will all be there. So thank you, and we'll see you more at the festival. Now we're in podcast territory. So you went that fast. You went from a short right into a feature, like.
Yes, which I don't think I'm gonna do again, because it's like you can really focus on the post production of the short as you're also prepping a feature. It's not really
That's
the
what I
best
was
way
wondering.
to go. It's pretty wild. And also, you cannot take care of the short during a festival run because you want to take care of the big guy of the feature.
Yeah.
So, and I end up with a lot of people actually loving the short that we did at the time, but I didn't really have the time to submit it to festivals to really pay attention to it because it was all about Residents of Arcadia. So yeah, it was an hectic time. That's why I'm saying, like, probably you feel it in the film. The energy, it's felt in the film.
It does.
And
Like
also
it's
because
right
of
from the
COVID.
beginning. You know, when you guys first come up on screen and, you know, you're promoting your sunscreen and he's doing the motivational, and then it comes to that countdown, like the creepy guy in the yard, like it all just flows.
Mhm.
And then the movie starts, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, actually, if I can add to your question, what will I change? I would probably try to shorten the time of the cinematography part of it, like the adjustment of the light, to give more space to the actors. There are some scenes that I absolutely adore that we couldn't do multiple takes on because we have challenges, obviously, like the cinematographer trying to do as much as possible, but you know, it's always a balance. Better lighting or more takes with the actors. And the scene where the guy appears outside, I want Kamantha and Michael to go more and more and more in that 3 minutes long scene, but we couldn't because we were really running out of time at that time.
Oh,
I mean, we only had one camera where, you know,
Yeah.
any Hollywood shoot, you're having 2 or 3. So we're limited by number of angles we do.
That's true too. I thought that you could have stretched that out, but I thought it was nice how fast it went by, because then the one thing that I had a hard time believing right at the beginning was why they're getting sleepy. It's like, okay, like seriously, I can watch a clock. Why can't these people? But then you get into the story and you realize it. But I think if it had been dragged out, there would have been more non-suspension of disbelief in that scene. I think the speed helped slip by that fast.
That's true. Yeah, the first draft of the film was even more technical. There were more like explanation. There's a lot of explanation of why certain things happen. I also had to reduce that more, and it was good. I will even reduce even more the technical aspect of it if I could. But at some point, I want people to also understand what's going on.
Was there ever any thought to drop a lot of info at the beginning as opposed to, you know, breadcrumbing?
Yes. Actually, we even have a distributor mentioning, why you guys don't create a commercial of Arcadia at the beginning of the film, which was an idea to extra explain. But at the end, we just felt that we didn't really want to do the explain, just go with the flow.
Yeah. Some of the best movies just drop you in them and let you experience them. And I got to admit, that was one of the things I loved about your film, because I wasn't spoon-fed everything at the beginning, and it's like, okay, I got to figure things out as I go, and I loved it. Now, the one thing I wanted to find out too, when you do your transition, like when they wake up, was there any thought on, you know, changing color tone or changing anything to make it very drastic? Because the film looks beautiful. Oh my gosh, what's the word? I'm having a hard time with English.
Cohesive.
Yeah, uniform. It like all the coloring matches and everything. Was there any thought of doing something like Wizard of Ozing it almost?
Well, we wanted that transition. If you see when they fall asleep, we start cutting from them to Mira and Remo falling asleep. We wanted the transition to be very fluid. We didn't want to, so we were kind of pushed to slowly change the color palette, because the color palette actually changes. You just don't realize it because we do it slowly. throughout. Like the
Okay.
Annika and Steve scenes are more on the warm side, while when we meet Mira and Remo, it's more on the bluish and cold side of the spectrum.
Oh, excellent.
So
Okay.
there is a change there, because I had a conversation with the colorist and with the cinematographer about that.
Oh, nice. I think I need to
Yeah.
rewatch it then, because I
I
did not
think I need to too.
that was done so smooth. Like I did not even catch it. So yeah, I'm gonna watch that.
Well, here's a question. I actually don't know because we did switch. I guess switch DOPs technically between blocks. So was there any difference in terms of, did they have a pretty agreement in terms of palettes
Well,
and stuff?
just the DP that end up being our DP, Belen Garcia. She was also helping with the first block of shooting, and they also have a very similar style with the previous cinematographer. So she basically absorbed his style into what she was doing. They had a long conversation when we had to switch. Well, at some point, unfortunately, we had to switch cinematographer from one to the other in the middle of the shooting, like right before the second block, for a lot of different reasons. So, but because they were friends, they knew each other. They're like, okay, this is how we're doing. We're treating colors. So even for the scene when Mira and Remo wake up, like she knew exactly how to shoot it in accordance to what he shot before. So
that must have made you nervous when that.
That was actually, I always forget to say, that was one of the most challenging parts of the entire production. Because also Max, previous cinematographer, he was also in a way part of the production as well. He was co-producing the entire film, and he was also the DP of the short that pushed me to do a feature. So it was a very important element in the entire journey of the film. So yeah, but that's why we went with Belen, because it was the perfect transition. She was also part of the team. She was the gaffer in the first block, and she's an accomplished cinematographer. So I was kind of safe with her.
It eased the stress a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show, and congratulations on the film. I loved it. I absolutely adored it. So hopefully we get to see a bit more Arcadia in the future. Just saying,
We'll see.
If you guys ever have anything else coming up, please feel free to get back in touch with us, because we'd love to have you back on. Okay. All right. For another episode of Bits Radio, this is Rob, and we will see you all later.